Near the beginning of World War II in 1941, the British Navy was shipping large amounts of material from the United States to England to fight Nazi Germany. These merchant ships would quite often be sunk by German U-boats, but some sailors would survive. You would expect that the sailors that would survive a sinking in the North Atlantic would be the young, stronger sailors, but instead it was the older, more seasoned, sometimes weaker seamen who were the ones that survived. As they started to study this, they realized that most of these survivors had a common experience, and that was they were experienced. They had gone through other difficulties in life, from loss of a child to divorce to physical difficulties, and through those other experiences they had gained a kind of resilience or confidence in themselves. They carried this into when they were torpedoed and lost in the North Atlantic. So in 1941, Kurt Hahn decided maybe we can train people to have this resiliency, and he created Outward Bound. You may have heard of it. It's still run across the world, and that is experiences to put people under stress to solve difficult problems, but there isn't any real danger. But it trains them mentally, emotionally, and physically to respond in a more positive manner when they're in a crisis. How can we train ourselves to be more resilient in times of stress and crisis? Surprisingly, one of the things you can do is cold water, just like those sailors in the North Atlantic. There's been a lot of research on the physical effects of temperature on our nervous system and our ability to respond in times of crisis. The Mayo Clinic has summarized a lot of this research, and they've come up with a simple thing that you and I can do to make our nervous systems less responsive to stress. It's cold water. If you submerge your face in a bowl of cold water for 30 seconds and hold your breath, your sympathetic nervous system starts to respond. It starts to slow down your heart rate, your respiration rate. Your whole nervous system goes into a calming mode in order to help you survive the stress that it thinks it's under. What happens with this, though, is your system starts to become adjusted to this, so that then when you're late for that important meeting, or you missed a phone call, or you're stressed about how the kids are behaving, your body is used to, wait a second, calm down, and so your heart rate, your respiration rate, your nervous system will all be slower to respond in times of stress to urgency. A side effect the Mayo Clinic found is that it helps you sleep at night. Another thing you can do is to challenge yourself in everyday activities. I have a neighbor who has a 30-foot driveway, and when she comes home, she stops her car, gets her mail, and then drives the other 30 feet. What she's doing is she's making her whole body and being as fragile as possible. Instead, figure out ways in your daily life that you can challenge yourself. It could be through physical exercise. If you are a runner, try weightlifting. If you're a weightlifter, try some running. Challenge yourself intellectually and mentally. Try learning a new game or a puzzle. Do something that you're uncomfortable with is the key, because it causes a certain amount of stress in your system that then you manage, and your body and your mind gets used to managing that stress. Prepare yourself with CPR, first aid, psychological first aid. Those things that you may need to be called upon in times of crisis to help yourself or other people. Another thing you can do is what I think of as packing for failure. I traveled to Kuwait once and landed there and lost my luggage, and it was during Ramadan. Nothing was open and I couldn't get anything. I didn't even have a toothbrush. What I found was I needed to carry with me when I travel in my carry-on bag a small packet of the things I would really need. I could live out of that little package for probably 3 or 4 days quite comfortably. The idea is not just in traveling, but in general. Have yourself prepared so that you have the tools necessary if you face a problem. Diversify your skill set. Try to learn some new and different things that aren't in your normal domain of knowledge. Try some different physical things. Try some different intellectual things. The last thing I'd mention, those people who are most resilient are the ones who seek advantage in times of adversity. In other words, they see things not as, oh my God, this is terrible. They see things as opportunities when others don't. When COVID came, some people just hunkered down and hid in their homes. Other people learned new languages, started businesses. They had this as an opportunity to grow and do something different. They took advantage of the situation. Most economists say we have a recession coming up. We should be thinking about, how do you prosper in times of a recession? Some people are going to come out of that recession better, and some are going to be hurt. I'd rather be the first.